Okay, guys, we've got senior offensive lineman Jake Curhan for you. As we've been doing, if you could let me know you have a question in the chat, and we'll go ahead and get you started with Jake. We can start with Rusty Simmons from the Chronicle.
Jake, that looks like quite the hat collection you have back there. What all do you have?
Whole bunch of different stuff. I was real into hats for a little bit, and then I my hair got quite long, and hats didn't quite fit on my head for probably a good year or so there. But I got a bunch of stuff ranging from I think you can see some Cal stuff up there. There's a Cheez-It Bowl hat right over my ear. Some Cal stuff, some random stuff. One of my dad's old company. That's a personal favorite, but yeah.
Right on. And I was going to ask you just a kind of general question about the offense. A weekend, how do you feel about the way things are going?
Oh, I'm loving it. It's a lot of fun. Definitely, I think there's more to know for a lot of different people. So, people did a really good job while we were gone for a while, spending time in their playbooks and starting to learn. So we're still in the beginning part of reinstalling, but there haven't been a lot of mental errors because everybody's already, been up on it and pretty much knows everything we have in up to this point. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. We get to, get our hands in the dirt a lot more on the outside, which, didn't happen as much. It's a lot of different looks and really downhill and really physical. So I'm loving it.
I was going to ask you about that exact term. Downhill is what Coach Musgrave said the other day. What does that mean to you as an offensive lineman? How excited does that make you?
It means moving people. And I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's really exciting because, there's so many like different wrinkles on all different types of plays that we have in on, how we can change up blocking schemes or ways we can isolate, certain players, whether it's a fullback or a tight end. And it's just like, it's so comprehensive in terms of the amount of things we can do and the wrinkles we can put on every play. And we can, get in the same look a lot of different times and do a bunch of different things out of it, which is, I think, going to present a real big challenge for, people who are going to be scouting us and people who are going to be playing.
Thank you.
Okay, Jasper Sundin with the Daily Cal.
Yeah, we just talked to Coach McClure, and he said you guys are getting a lot of younger players involved, that people are getting reps at different positions. As one of the more experienced players on the team, how's it been with a lot of different players on the O-line moving around?
I mean, that's always, since I've been here, that's always how we've done it. Coach Greatwood for the last 3 years would be shuffling guys all around, throughout spring ball, throughout fall camp until, we're ready to play and things get a little solidified. But it's good. It's good because, we've got a lot of people who've played a lot of football. And I think there's a good, 6 guys coming back who've played a lot over the last year or two. And there's really an opportunity for some of those younger guys or guys who've had a chance to develop to really, find their niche and take some of those backup spots rather than just, plugging Valentino into whoever goes hurt, which, I mean, Val's great, but it'll be nice to get some consistency and get some more depth and have people that can really fill in and play.
Okay, let me get back to the chat here and see who else we have. Jeff Ferrado is next.
Hey, Jake. Talk a little bit about, if you would, how much you feel like the offensive line needs to be a leader on the team.
Yeah, I definitely think it's important that the offensive line leads, and I don't really think we've got too much of an issue with that. I think like between myself, Mike, Val, Will, you've got guys who've been here for, you know, you've been here for some time. And even though it's new terminology, you know, it's similar stuff and guys that are respected amongst the team. So I think it's important. I honestly say, I don't think we think about it all that much. It's something that comes naturally. But I mean, it is important and we've got great leaders on the line. So all that works out.
It seems like a lot of times on football teams, when the O-line is a strength, that sort of permeates down to the rest of the team, and that sets a tone. Is that how you guys think about it?
Yeah. And I think I mean, not only the O-line too, but our D-line's really strong also. So, you know, getting to go against them every day and like get really, really good competition, you know, leadership on both sides, offense and defense on the line. I think it just gets everybody excited and everyone can see it, right? It's like, it's pretty evident when people are going to war down there. So yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely important that the offensive line leads the way. Like we need to be, I mean, if you can't run the ball, you can't do anything, right? So it's important to be physical. It's important to be leaders. And, you know, when people see that and they see you dominating, I think it definitely fires up people, you know, people on the perimeter and also people on the other side of the ball.
And if I can follow up with a slightly different question, just, you know, going into your senior year, what are the areas you feel like you need to continue to improve at?
Yeah. I mean, there's always room for improvement. What's going to be nice is, you know, being able to put more, put on film more with my hand in the dirt. So that's something that, you know, I just haven't gotten to do much of over the last 3 years, is play out of a 3-point stance other than really short yardage situations or goal line situations. So that's going to be something that's new. And then learning how to do that effectively in the pass game, like how to get out of that 3-point and back with depth. You know, it's tough at tackle when you got speedy guys off the edge. So definitely working a lot on just getting more comfortable being out of a 3-point comprehensively. And then some of the other stuff is just some lateral, like generally lateral movement stuff, like outside zone type of blocking. And I'm feeling more comfortable with the way that we're teaching it. But I think I've been good. I mean, I think I'm a really good player and I think I've been consistent. So it's just about being more consistent and improving in those areas where I can and showing more diversity.
And if I could ask you, is there anyone among the really young O-linemen that has caught your attention so far this camp, somebody who's jumped up or maybe made a big improvement that you're impressed by?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little tough with the new guys because, as you guys know, practice is split up because we're following the local health ordinances. So since we have so much returning on offense, a lot of the, you know, on defense, a lot of the 2 deep is freshmen who get to practice with everybody. But on offense, there's so many returners that a lot of the freshmen are in that later group. But Braden Rome is really been improving, putting in a lot of work. Brian Driscoll is having some good reps as well. Yeah, and I mean, I'm excited for whenever Berkeley lets us all get all 100 and however many of us there are together. I'm excited to see how those new guys have improved. Everett too. I was really impressed with Everett when he was allowed to do some of the bowl practices, like when he very first got here. And then, you know, I think like a lot of us tackles struggle a little bit with the transition to a 3-point in spring ball, but he's starting to show some flashes again. I think he's going to be a good player and play here one day. Just working on some of the mental recognition stuff that's going to come with a lot of reps.
Thanks, Jake.
Okay, we'll move on to, or move back to Rusty Simmons, San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, Jake, I was going to ask a big picture question about the We Are United campaign. I know that you were a big part of that. What was that experience like for you, and what kind of impact do you feel like you guys were able to have?
It was a really cool experience because I think one of the things, that was going on, there was so much uncertainty, right? When all that started to brew about, and it was like evident. I started noticing like players across the country would be saying things that kind of like, okay, I think a lot of players are feeling a similar type of way. The thing about it is, people have friends here and there on other teams, but we don't talk to each other all that much, other than who your friends might be. Like, in terms of like, prior to that, I would say I probably knew a player on two of the other teams in the Pac-12, maybe three of them. And, afterwards, what's really cool is just being able to talk to all these other guys on different teams and be like, basically compare that we're all having like similar experiences. Especially when no one really knew what was going on. And I know it was frustrating for the coaches too. Because frustrating for coaches, frustrating for every aspect of what we've been used to as our life for literally our entire life. So it was really cool to be able to talk to players at other schools, see similar experiences. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing those guys on the field this year. The other impact, or the question you had about impact, I think there is a tremendous impact. I don't know if we have the health guidelines that we currently have right now in the Pac-12, if the players didn't say something. Cory Booker and Senator Blumenthal put a bill on the floor of Congress that is directly asking for literally everything and some of what we put in that statement. So and I've been on calls with the governor's office. Like I've been on people in places of power took a lot of notice. And I think the long-term impact of what we were able to do, putting our voice out there, is definitely going to be felt.
Did you know going into it that you had that kind of platform, that this would make that kind of impact?
Yes. I knew people would pay attention. And it became like pretty clear, right? Because racial justice is obviously something that's been a huge problem, as well as the pandemic. And you saw with, Kylan Hill, the Mississippi State running back, he essentially got them to change their flag.
Right.
Or at least he was the last straw in doing so. So it was kind of clear, and LeBron's been doing it for years too, right? And it's clear that people listen to athletes, people have platforms. You see some of these top recruits these days have tens of thousands of followers before they've even gotten to a college. So, the platform is definitely there. What's difficult is convincing people that they do have that platform, because or that they are in a position where they're able to speak. Because once, people are afraid to be the first person or be alone, but when everybody sees that, people are going through similar problems and they're in a position that they can help, it creates a cool kind of unity.
Right on. Thanks, Jake.
Yep.
Okay. We got one other one here. Let me check. Jim McGill, did you have a question, I think?
Yeah, a couple of questions, Jake. How excited is the offense with Coach Musgrave's new system that is being installed?
Super. It's awesome. I think everyone thinks it's awesome. It's a lot more. It's complicated. I don't know how much Coach Musgrave really, changed his offense, if at all, when bringing it down from the NFL. So, there's a lot to know, especially for certain position groups. But people are picking it up really well. And I think that's why, a lot of times when you see these pro style offenses try to get adapted in college, people can run into some trouble and just, remembering everything. But we've got a smart team and guys who are willing to put in the work. And I think when you can get guys to really understand what we're trying to do, it's going to create a ton of problems, just talking to the defense, like our own defense, like we don't ever see, anyone we're playing against do this kind of stuff. So it's exciting to hear that. And it's just exciting to see what the product we put on the field is going to be. If the first couple of days are any indication, it's going to be pretty exciting.
Great. And last, I just wanted to ask your impressions of the 4 new young defensive linemen. Do you get a chance to see them much? I know you're on the edge. Maybe you might see Jaden and Ethan a little bit more than Ricky and Stan.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my hands pretty full with Zionde and Brett, but I mean, I've gotten to see some of those guys working, and I definitely think Stanley's looked pretty good so far. Jaden's done some good things, and he's been here a little bit longer. And then I've also seen Ethan flash a little bit too. So I haven't gotten to play too much against any of them yet. Like I said, Brett and Zionde, I think, are going to be a problem for the Pac-12 this year. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Just like as soon as this class got here, I could kind of tell, like, just over the summer and the voluntary workouts we were having, that physically, I think they look better as a whole than any other class I've seen get here in my time. So, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. Whatever they're doing in the recruiting office, I guess, must be working. So, yeah, it's an exciting future for Cal football fans for sure.
Thanks.
Hey, guys, I think we're through the list on the chat. If we give you about another 5 seconds, if you have a final question for Jake, please let me know in the chat. Doesn't seem like anything is coming in. So, Jake, we'll let you go. Thanks a lot for your time, man. We'll catch you next time.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jake.
Jake.
You guys.
Thanks.